Here we go. One man, 4 women who convinced their friends and family to go on TV without professional hair and makeup. Let's do it! We're going to hometowns. We have Grant, who is deep in existential thought. He's like, how will I convince these fathers that not only do I want to marry their daughter, but I want to bang them respectfully in a thing called a fantasy suite while 2 other people's daughters wait in their respective fantasy suites. How am I going to pull this off? I love when you can tell if something's staged or not. This is absolutely staged. There is nothing in that luggage. No one in the history of Rolly luggage has ever had the handle on the outside. This is just not good leverage. Like, that goes, turn the bag around. That, it would break my wrist with the amount of things I packed to pull it that way. They show Grant on his way to the airport as if it's like a calming experience. Where is him checking Google Maps every 5 seconds and sweating? Like, going to LAX is not like this namaste, easygoing life. Like, where is the family of 4 that is rushing past him, that is shoeless and eating sushi at the same time, that's like pushing him out of the way? This is not anyone's airport entrance experience. We're heading to Boston, so of course they play the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, but we're not. We're going to Newton. It should be like, we're shipping up to Johnny's Luncheonette. Whoa. We're shipping up to Newton Center. Whoa. We have Grant here, and then they show Juliana, who looks like every hot chick in a coming-of-age movie set in a Boston suburb. And there she was, Juliana. She was the hottest chick at the Papagino's parking lot.
Show them the way that us Italians get down here in Newton.
So Newton has like an Italian side and a Jewish side. I'm more familiar with the Jewish end of Newton. So this is like a bizarro world to me. Like, I don't recognize any of these streets. I don't know any of these storefronts. My family's from the Jewish end of things. So like, the fire hydrant on the Jewish end just has a phone number with that you can call for like an Italian guy to come help you with any, manual labor needs you have. So Juliana takes Grant to her favorite pizza place in Newton.
Nice to meet you. Who's this guy?
He's immediately aggressive. Who's this guy? Who are you bringing into my shop? I don't know him. What's he doing with my girl? What's he doing with my girl that I used to make pizzas for when she was like 10 years old? And then she grew up and got hot, and now I kind of wish she would date me. Nico, the pizza guy. But nobody wants a pizza guy. I'm just going to be aggressive towards your new boyfriend because I'm jealous. Introduces him as her boyfriend.
You're the one that whisked her away.
He's like, you're the one that whisked her away. He's like, well, actually, there was casting. Juliana self-taped herself and wanted to be on TV, and it just so happened that we got along. And I didn't force her to do any of this. So we'll take 1 large pizza, please. This guy's job is to both intimidate Grant and then act annoyed at him, and then at the end give him a hug and say how much he loves him and kiss him on the cheek. Like, that is every Boston interaction. What the hell are you doing here? Take care of her. Okay, I love you. There's a moment where you can tell Juliana's not Jewish. Look at, she's like dancing around when he throws the yeast on her. She's like, oh my God, if that was a Jewish girl, she'd be like, I just got my hair done today. How could you do that? It's going to ruin my Japanese straightening. They make pizza and they act like this is this big Italian pizza place. Pizza places in Boston are more Greek style with a thicker dough and crust. It's more airy. That would be me ruining the date. They'd be like, Jared, can't you just go along with it? I'd be like, no, we have to acknowledge that this is a Greek pizza and not an Italian-style pizza. They go from a pizza place to a flower shop. This is supposed to be the Italian neighborhood, but this woman does not look like she's from the neighborhood. She looks like she asked a crystal earlier in the morning how her day was going to be. And they go to an Italian bakery. They're going to Lady and the Tramp a cannoli. I don't know if this is a Lady and the Tramp food. It's a lot of crummies. If I'm him, I'm going I'm like deep throating it so that I like save her from the crumbs, but it's really because I want to eat the whole cannoli. And then she's like, wow, you got a big bite. And I'll be like, no, I was saving you from the crummies. Juliana explains how many people are going to be there tonight.
My Auntie Lynn, my Uncle Liam, my cousins Marissa and Alana.
And look at Grant is just like, okay, that's enough family members. Okay. So all these people are going to ask me if I'm just trying to bang you. Okay, whew. They get to the house and there's like a huge party. And Grant showed up with 4 pizzas? If I'm there, I'm like, is that all you brought? Like, look at even Grant realizes right away. He's like, should have bought a few more cannolis. This group looks like it can eat. Like, I would say, hey, man, turn around and get on that phone and call Papagino's. We need a few more pies here. Grant's meeting the whole family, and this is my favorite family member of every family.
That's why we get along. We're all a little cray-cray.
Yeah, this aunt exists in every family. The one who tells you how crazy their family and they're like no other family on earth. Every family has an aunt like this. We're all a little fun. Yeah, we're a little crazy. And it's always the craziest family member who does that. It's always the one who has the most issues, who's like, you don't know a family like this one. We're the craziest. If you can fit in here, you can fit in anywhere. So here's the father, Carl, and he is like the mascot for I'll have a large regular at Dunkin'. I start my morning with a large regular from Dunkin', and then I go on Route 9, and I head to work. Carl is immediately the most lovable TV character in the history of TV. He's given Grant for kissing his daughter. Get a room. Hey, don't make me take you to the Sudbury Farms and have a talk with you. Carl is a producer's wet dream. Like, he is great on TV. He's got fun lines. He looks at his daughter with tears welling up in his eyes every 5 minutes and then goes back to talk to Grant. This guy, the producers must have been like, hey, keep a camera on Carl and do not leave him for the rest of the night. And here's Dominique, Julia's hot sister. They look like they're just like 2 different versions of the same character in a video game. Like you're going to create your own hot chick from outside of Boston. Should I go brunette? Should I go blonde? So here's her mom, Dena. Grant's showing her his tattoos. That's one of those things that's like, a mom's like, okay, cool. So you got some art on your arm. That's fun. Tell me about your Ferrari that you drive. That's a $250,000 car. What do you do for work? Oh, okay, we're talking about the wolf tattoo. Okay, we'll talk about your arm art. Carl is the quintessential Italian dad. Grant just said like all the nice and wonderful things, and Carl is just broken. He would French kiss Grant right now if he'd let him. Carl gives a big toast, shows his heart one last time, and then kicks them all out. In dad fashion, he's like, I want to give a big salute, and I want to say to this guy, I love him. And now you got to leave, because if I'm sentimental for 2 more seconds, my friends are going to call me gay at the Knights of Columbus. So get the hell out. So Grant and Juliana have a great night with the family. For some reason, the Bachelor thinks they have to put a bench outside of every family's home to have this debrief. This is the last place I would ever have a debrief with a woman I just brought to see my parents, because my mom would be head poked out of that door screaming at us, being like, what are you doing outside? Is the Uber not coming? It's freezing. Come inside right now. And then I would yell back at her, Mom, go back inside. I'm trying to say goodbye to Juliana. And then Juliana would get the ick because she'd watch me turn into a child fighting with my mom. Yeah, this would be a disaster for me. Is now in New York City for a hometown with Zoe, who is not from New York City and has also not had a one-on-one. So he's going to go from meeting her family direct to a fantasy suite, direct to an engagement, hypothetically. None of this Zoe storyline makes any sense other than she's one of the hottest women on the planet, and I would probably keep her around too because look how hot she is, and if she'll come to the fantasy suites with me, I gotta take that chance. Zoe and Grant are doing a modeling date because Zoe does some modeling as well as being a computer engineer. I'd be more interested to see her computer engineering job. I'd be like, hey, can we go see where you do your coding? I kind of assumed you were a model also. I just want to see you in an office situation. Like, how do the other coders respond to a model being also a coder? Honestly, this date feels more like a one-on-one they should have had weeks ago than the date leading into meeting the family.
Engagement ring.
They even have this annoying chick from Long Island who's gonna bring an engagement ring into the picture. Look at okay, Rachel Greenspan, can you chill out? They literally just met a week ago, and he never had a one-on-one date. Can they learn each other's middle names before you bring over an engagement ring? Look great together, but this date isn't a let's meet your parents next date. This is a wow, I think we're really getting to know each other a little bit. Not, hey, we're going to be engaged in 2 weeks date. Grant and Zoe go to meet her family. He's not meeting the adoptive parents.
A year ago with them.
They cut ties.
He gets to meet my chosen family.
She says that he's going to meet the chosen family, which that is like you're about to meet this grab bag of random people that's going to feel more like you're getting ready for a pop quiz than you are meeting a family. It's going to be like, hi, I'm cousin Randy from Virginia, and I'm her best friend Todd from Sunday school. And you're like, okay, Todd, Randy, Sunday school, Virginia. And I'm her Aunt Barbara, but I'm not really her aunt. I'm actually just a good friend of her mom's who she doesn't talk to anymore. Okay, Aunt Barbara, don't mention the mom, but she's a friend of the mom. I walk up to this house that looks like the house you look at that's going to look like the rest of the houses they're going to build in the community. Like, this is a home that looks like it's getting ready for an open house later that day. This is a house you look at on Zillow that you're like, yeah, I don't think we can afford it, but I'm just going to keep looking at it forever and dream of what my couch would look like inside of it. Walk into this house that has a showing in 2 hours, and here are the chosen family, she calls them, which is a random group of friends and family that you get together with because you're in an argument with your parents. So you can tell, everyone's here for her, but they probably have other things they have to do that day. Here's Zoe's friend. She's like, yeah, let's just get this done in an hour. I have a Zumba class later, and I had to be here because she was really good to me during my wedding week. Zoe doesn't speak to her adoptive parents, yet her sister's here and her aunt and uncle are here. So if I'm Grant, the minute I talk with the aunt and uncle, I'm like, hey, auntie, what's going on with your sister? Are we cool? Is this fight going to blow over? Or should I prepare to hang with you during Christmas and other holidays? Or should I just be prepared to, not talk to a mom and have awkward moments with them for the rest of my life, huh? Here's Zoe's sister. She's going to talk with Grant.
Why haven't you guys had, the one-on-one dates? I know the other women have.
Literally the only question she should be asking. Great job by the sister. Why haven't you had a one-on-one date? How the hell am I meeting you?
I felt like either it was me or it was her that was holding back. Our last 2 conversations, she was like, okay, this is why I'm hard to read.
Well, that's the reason to have a one-on-one date. We were both holding back, so I figured less time together would really help us get to know each other better.
Why?
Grant turns into the Riddler to try and confuse the sister.
But we're locked in, and our connection just started later. Mm-hmm. It wasn't too late. It was right on time.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Now you are.
Yeah.
I love that.
Ugh, the sister bought it. That was a load of Yeah, we didn't have the one-on-one because we got to know each other later, which wasn't too late. And if we had met sooner, it wouldn't have been later. But not too late. And it's never too late for us to go to the fantasy suite and for me to touch that beautiful of hers. So for that reason, we're here. So I guess this date went okay. Grant explained why Zoe never got a one-on-one.
Yes, it was.
Here's how rudely Zoe's been treated. She didn't even get a bench. Every contestant gets a bench outside of the family home, and they're on the stoop. If I'm Zoe, I'm like, where's my bench? Maybe it's because this house is going to be sold to another family like 2 days from now, and they're like, we can't bring the bench out here. It might ruin the grass, and they've already done the punch list, and yeah, the mortgage is all signed. We only have another hour here, so we couldn't bring a bench. But still, I would want my debrief bench if I'm Zoe. So we're in Wyoming with Latia's family. Latia is a Mormon who has never dated outside the Mormon faith. So buckle up. We are about to see a version of Meet the Parents that
that's why I wanted you to come
is going to be awkward and weird.
Okay.
You're going to meet a Mormon family that's going to be so nice, you're going to wonder why you're not a Mormon. So they do this horseback riding date, and none of us want to watch this. Sure, they're having a fun time together, but we want to see Grant meet the Mormons. Like, even the horses are wondering why they're there. They're like, get Grant to the house. We want to watch him ask them if they've ever drank coffee before. So they have this conversation about her being Mormon.
You are the first person that I'll bring home that's not also in our same religion.
I mean, if I'm Grant, I'm like, hey, thank you for bringing me home. Don't you think this was date one conversation? This could even be considered walk out of the limo conversation. Hey, I've never dated anyone that's not a Mormon. Thanks for telling me. Cool. Do you drink alcohol? Are you wearing magic underwear? Have you had coffee? Like, these are all things we could have had, hashed out before I came to Wyoming and got on a horse. Latia asks if he's worried, and he says, no, I'm not worried, because what else is he supposed to say?
I don't want my family.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous that we can't have sex until we are in the lap of a Jesus Christ statue. Like, I don't know what you are. I don't know anything about this religion. Please. I need more information than you've never dated anyone who's not a Mormon. This conversation was so important that the Bachelor producers brought the bench out here to this pond. Like, if I'm Grant, I'm like, are benches against the Mormon faith? Like, is there not allowed to be a debrief bench outside of the house or near the house? That's how little I would know. I'd be like, tell me more about why we have a bench here and not at the home. Listen to Grant explain what he knows about the Mormon faith.
There's some nerves there for sure. I have tattoos. I wear earrings. I do drink sometimes, and I do have fun. So
Grant's understanding of the Mormon faith is that they don't have fun. He just said, I do have fun, so I don't know if they're going to accept me. As if he's going to walk in this house and they're going to be like, Grant, nice to meet you. In this house, we pray to Jesus, and there is no fun. If you can handle that, you can be part of our family. And here comes the family. This is not how my family would greet anyone new. My mom would be at the door being like, hurry up. Hurry. I need to shut the door. We're letting the AC out of the house. I mean, look at the smile on this guy. That is too much. He's got to take this down a notch. He's like, are you here to bang my stepdaughter? Nice to meet you. Can I tell you a little bit about my friend JC? He's a great guy. And they bring Grant to the backyard and they're like, Grant, join us. We mix different sodas and we call it a dirty soda and it's kind of naughty, but it doesn't have any alcohol so that we can still go to heaven. Become one of us. And here's the grandpa meets Grant. He's got the cane. He kind of looks like the prospector from Toy Story. It's going well. These are nice people. It's just a little bit, I need them to blink more. I need them to be less happy, more cynical. Everyone here just looks like they wake up in the morning and they go, isn't it a beautiful day? I know it's a nice day, but it kind of feels like they're avoiding going in the house. Like they're doing tug of war. Why? If I'm Grant, I'm like, do Mormons not go inside on Sundays? Is that part of the religion? Like, it's kind of cold out here. Can I use the bathroom inside or is there an outhouse? Look how short this tug of war rope is. Like, Grant gets taken out. The rope is way too short. Look at these brothers over here all laughing. But if I'm Grant, I'm like, hey, this rope was not regulation size. It should have been 3 versus 3, not 4 versus 4. It's too many people on the rope. Let's go again. I would be like, let's go again. I'll take this, this bigger guy over here. Get rid of these 2 nerds. I don't want them on my team. And then you get your 2 best, and then we go on the short rope with less people. Grant has a sit down with Latia's stepdad. And no stepdad has ever looked more like they love God in a cool way than Latia's stepdad. He's like, listen, I get it. There's a lot of temptations out there. Coffee, sodas with caffeine, gum that has caffeine in it. And you got to live your life. But here, we just hang with a cool guy named Jesus Christ. Latia's dad is very direct. He talks about the biological clock for Latia. He's like, she's only got so much more time. If she's going to have 30 babies, she's got to hurry up.
Get married, and that's something that's very prominent in our culture.
He talks about marriage as prominent in their culture, as if all the other cultures were just messing around. And then he just sits and smiles at Grant for a solid 10 minutes. I'd be like, if I was Grant, I'd be like, hey, man, how about we turn off that smile for about 5 seconds and just chill here? My face muscles, this guy's face muscles must be insane. He never stops smiling. Latia now wants to confide in the grandpa. She's going to tell him something she's never told anybody. Tell me.
I think that I love it.
Look at the grandpa doesn't hear it at first. She says, I think I love him. He's like, you want to rub him? Yeah, he does look a little tense. I'd give him a rub, but I'm an old man, I think you should rub him, but in a non-sexual friendly way. You know us Mormons, we only massage over the shirt. No skin-to-skin rubs. I think this has been a great commercial for the Mormon faith for one reason. They have the most amazing skin I have ever seen on a family. Like, everyone here, not a lot of makeup, natural looks, the mom, Latia, the grandpa, the dad, everyone looks bright and wonderful. If I were the Mormon church, I would just show this and be like, look, you can have this guy, he's 85 years old. That's what being a Mormon does for you. You will look 34 forever. I know you were wondering, did the debrief bench make it from the pond to the house? Yes, it did. It is here. Look they even tucked it away on the side of the house. They were like, listen, I know there's a lot of Mormons watching, but feel free to make out. We put the debrief bench a little bit on the side of the house. No one can see, so you may French kiss here. We won't tell. Dena informs Grant that her parents and her 11 siblings, yes, 11 siblings, will not be a part of the show because of their religion. He's a deacon and a pastor, and they're out. If I'm Grant, I'm like, hey, so all 11 siblings, we couldn't find, like, a faction of 3 who are willing to go rogue to, like, meet me and then go back to the family and let them know I'm a good guy? Not even 3. You have to suspend reality for a lot of this show. But it would be tough for me to look at Dena and be like, hey, why don't you deal with the family stuff before we get engaged in 2 weeks? Like, this feels like a big mountain for us to climb together. So now that Dena has told Grant that he'll be meeting none of her family, they're like, let's go to the fall festival and see if we'll get engaged. Like, this can't happen now.
My biggest fear now would
if I'm Grant, I'm wondering what's wrong with Dena. Like, Dena, don't you want your family to, like, be happy for you when you get engaged? Maybe we're not ready. So instead of Dena's family, instead of her 11 siblings or her mom and dad, we're going to meet the girls she gets brunch with, which not as serious as meeting the parents to me. I know she'll say, like, these are my most important girls. Like, this girl's even like, I don't know what we're doing here. I just met Dena like 3 months ago, and it was only because we were both single and we kind of dated the same guy. Dena is literally crying from Grant meeting the women she met in a We're Dating the Same Guy Facebook group 2 months ago. Like, she's like, and you're meeting Chantel. We do Pilates together. I've always dreamt of introducing my future husband to my Pilates friend. And look at, even this girl's like crying. She's like, I'm just crying because I'm single and I would like to meet someone soon. Dena's now rationalizing why meeting the friends is even better than meeting her family.
The fact that my family was not here today, like, it does feel like a missing piece. But I think having my girlfriends there supportive means a lot to me.
No,
like,
this isn't the same.
Like, they will tell me how it is.
No, they're not. They're going to tell you what makes their lives most comfortable. These are not the people you're going to spend Christmas with 10 years from now. They're going to be like, hey, we can't do Christmas. We have families of our own.
Like being the guy who does everything, is the provider, is the giver, is like that's on it, and I'm like, hold up, as a man.
She says the man should be the provider. Look, they all get delusional together, and then Grant's like, oh, cool. So we're all just gonna like agree with everything we all say today, and no one's gonna kind of live in reality. Cool, yeah. The man should be the provider, and he should pay for every date and take care of the kids and drive them to school. This date is really an example of how every woman thinks they're ready to be engaged at any minute. Like, yeah, you don't have to meet my 11 siblings or my parents. Just meet a couple of my friends and we'll get engaged tomorrow. Like, this one friend looks like she's about to be like, well, I'm just happy you don't have a name that starts with a J, because every woman knows J names are cheaters, just like my ex-boyfriend Josh. So you got that going for you.
You make it all the way, and there's an engagement.
Finally, some reality. She's like, what are you going to do if you get engaged? Do we start with the youngest sibling and work our way up? And Dena's like, no, we are going to buy a house, and then we will tell them after our first kid that we are married. That's what we'll do with my parents. This is just not a serious date. Hanging at the fall festival with your friends who are asking a couple questions is what you do with a guy who's a situationship who might be into dating one day. This is not pre-engagement date. Here's how you can tell ratings are down. They brought in Joey Graziadei to literally be like, hey man, go with your gut. That's his only advice, and every woman in the world is going to be like, I miss Joey. He really knows how to tell people to go with their gut. They were like, Joey's got 10 minutes free in between learning new routines on the Dancing with the Stars tour. We're going to get you with him so that we can put it in the commercial so that maybe 5 more people will watch. Then they get the women together pre-rose ceremony to have the most uncomfortable happy hour ever. Zoe's like, we did a wedding photo shoot. Juliana's like, he met my favorite pizza guy and my whole family loves him. Latia's like, he might become a Mormon. And then Dena's like, he met my one friend Rachel, who told him that she really likes her new kickboxing class. So I think we could maybe get engaged. Every woman here is glowing. They're like, my family loved him. I love him. And Dena's just sitting here like, yeah, my family didn't show, but we did bob for apples at a fall festival while my friend Enrita cried about her ex-boyfriend. So we're at the rose ceremony, which is being done in this haunted theater.
This week was about family.
They've cut production. They're like, no more airplane hangars. We're going to do an hour at a theater that's owned by the cameraman's cousin.
There's traits in a wife that I see.
And it was decorated by the person who
I find my person.
Put together the Beauty and the Beast experience at Disney. They're like, yeah, I got a few extra Lumieres in the closet we can put up behind them. Don't worry, it won't cost us anything. So Juliana and Latia get roses, and then out of nowhere, Jesse Palmer makes a rare appearance in between golf lessons. He's like, ladies, I have to get back to Joey. He was going to give me a few pointers on my backhand for tennis, so good luck. Zoe gets the rose. He's like, I love your Princess Jasmine outfit, and for that reason, I will try and bang you in the fantasy suites. And Dena's going home. Dena will be mad at her friend Chantel forever.
I'm so sorry.
She'll be like, Chantel, you didn't get personal enough with him. You talk too much about how you love rosé. So Dena gets led out through the empty theater to have her breakup talk. The other three women look at each other. They're like, we get to kind of share spit next week. And then he brings her, there's no breakup bench. They have a breakup couch, which would be in a therapist's office, which is a good move for them. It'd be nice if Grant was like, well, good luck with everything. You can now lay down. A licensed professional from BetterHelp will be out in just a second to listen to your tragic tale. So Grant puts her in the Uber Black. They both don't look too upset. Grant's kind of like, see ya. I'm going to go and be with these three hot chicks now. And Dena, like, she more looks like she just got done with a difficult work meeting than she just got dumped by someone she wanted to get engaged to.
I'm somebody that really shields myself.
She's like, I just think I deserve a 10% pay raise. And that's it for The Bachelor. That's it for me. I'll be back next week. Make sure you share. Share this with a friend. I'll be back.